The moment I walked into TechCorp's headquarters that Thursday morning, something felt off. Security guards I'd known for years suddenly avoided eye contact. Sarah from HR was hovering near my office, clutching a manila envelope. And my brother David's executive assistant had already cleared his schedule, unusual for our busiest development day. I'd spent 15 years building TechCorp's software division from scratch, turning our father's modest IT consulting firm into a $300 million enterprise. Every critical system, every proprietary algorithm, every line of core code had my fingerprints on it. But apparently, that didn't matter when it came to traditional succession. Kate, David's voice boomed across the open office. Family meeting. Now. I followed him into the conference room, already knowing what was coming. Dad sat there, looking older than his 65 years, hands clasped tightly on the mahogany table. The leather portfolio in front of David, the same one he'd carried to his secret board meetings, held transfer paperwork I'd discovered weeks ago. "Let's make this quick," David said, straightening his Rolex. Mom's retirement gift to him. Dad stepping down. Boards appointed me CEO, effective immediately. I kept my face neutral, thinking of the encrypted hard drive in my bag. "Congratulations." "Thanks, sis." He smirked, shuffling papers. "Now about your position." "David," Dad interrupted, "maybe we should discuss the transition plan first." "No need." David waved him off. "Kate, you're fired." The room went silent. Outside, developers who'd worked under me for years pretended not to listen. "The board feels," David continued, emphasizing board like it wasn't just him and his golf buddies, "that your role is redundant. We're bringing in a new CTO from Microsoft. Someone with," he paused for effect, "actual management experience." I thought about the licensing agreements buried in my personal safe, the patent registrations filed under my holding company, the kill switches I'd quietly embedded in every major system. "You're firing your own sister?" Dad's voice cracked. "David, she built our entire software platform." "She wrote some code," David interrupted. "Code we own. Code any decent developer could maintain. Right, sis?" I smiled slightly, remembering the hundreds of sleepless nights spent architecting systems they thought were just code. The thousands of hours innovating solutions they couldn't even understand. The patents I'd filed personally while they focused on golf scores and board seats. "Right," I said quietly, "just code. Security will escort you out," David continued, enjoying his moment. "Standard termination package. 3 months' salary, health insurance through the month. Oh, and we'll need your laptop." I handed over the decoy laptop I'd brought specifically for this moment. My real work machine was already wiped and destroyed. "Any questions?" David was practically glowing with authority. "Just one," I said, standing up. "Have you reviewed our software licensing agreements?" He frowned. "What?" "The licensing agreements. For all our operational systems. The ones that need renewal. Legal handles that stuff." He waved dismissively. "It says everything's current." I nodded. "Of course." "Well, good luck, David." "Dad." I turned to leave, then paused. "Oh, and you might want to check who actually owns those patents you think are just code." "What's that supposed to mean?" David's smile faltered slightly. "Nothing. Just keep Monday morning free. You might have some technical issues to deal with." "Are you threatening me?" He stood up, face reddening. "In my company." "Your company?" I smiled. "We'll see about that. Enjoy your weekend, CEO." Security waited to escort me out. Jeff, the head guard who'd watched my kids when they visited, whispered, "Sorry, Kate. This isn't right." "It's fine, Jeff," I replied, loud enough for others to hear. "Everything's working exactly as designed." At my car, I made 2 calls. First to Marcus, my patent attorney. Execute Plan B. Monday, 9 a.m. sharp. Then to Lisa, my best developer who'd quit last month for a new opportunity. Actually, a position at my shadow company. Start the clock. And Lisa? Make sure every system logs show exactly who owns what. My phone buzzed with messages from the development team. "Kate, half of us are ready to quit. This is Bulls ***. We're with you. David doesn't even know how to open a command prompt." I replied to all, "Stay put. Monday will be interesting." Dad called twice. I let it go to voicemail. He'd made his choice 3 months ago when he'd let David stack the board with his country club friends. At home, I poured a glass of wine and opened my personal laptop. On the screen, a dashboard showed every TechCorp system, every license, every patent, all registered to mesmerized Solutions, my private company. David thought he'd inherited our father's company. In reality, he'd just gotten an empty shell, dependent entirely on technology he didn't own. My phone buzzed again. A message from David. "Whatever you're planning, stop it. You're embarrassing yourself." I didn't reply. Instead, I set a countdown timer for Monday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. In 72 hours, every system in TechCorp would require license renewal. Every patent would need renegotiation. Every piece of just code would remind them exactly who built their empire. Sometimes the best revenge isn't making a scene. It's waiting for them to realize just how badly they've miscalculated. And David? He was about to get a very expensive lesson in software licensing. I spent Friday watching TechCorp's internal systems through my remote access. Access David didn't even know existed. Teams were scrambling to document processes, clearly realizing I was the only one who fully understood our architecture. The new CTO from Microsoft, Alan Brooks, had arrived early, already making rookie assumptions about our proprietary systems. My secure phone buzzed, a message from Lisa. "Brooks just tried to access the core repository. Should I let the authentication fail now?" "No," I replied. "Let him think he has access. Monday will be sweeter if they're confident." Through the security cameras I still controlled, another detail David had overlooked, I watched my brother strut around my former department. He'd already moved into Dad's corner office, replaced the family photos with his own achievements. Classic David, always focusing on appearances while missing the infrastructure that kept everything running. My other phone, the one David knew about, kept lighting up with messages. "Dad, Katie, please call me. We need to talk about this." "David, stop sulking. It's just business." "Sarah from HR, your severance paperwork needs signing." I ignored them all, focusing instead on my laptop where Marcus, my patent attorney, was walking me through Monday's strategy via secure video call. mesmerized Solutions ownership is airtight, he confirmed, shuffling papers. Every patent, every piece of proprietary code, even the underlying architecture, all registered to your company. TechCorp's been operating on a licensed basis for 5 years. And David never noticed the licensing fees. Marcus smiled. He approved them himself, called them standard tech maintenance costs in the budget meetings. Never bothered to read what he was actually paying for. On another screen, I watched TechCorp's development team chat. Dev 1, Anyone else notice we can't modify core systems? Dev 2. Brooks says he'll rewrite everything from scratch if needed. Lisa. Good luck with that. Base architecture alone is 2M lines of code. I smiled, remembering the countless nights I'd spent building those systems while David played golf with board members. Every algorithm, every innovation, every elegant solution, all carefully registered under Medici Solutions. My phone buzzed again. A message from Mom. Your brother's just trying to modernize the company, dear. Give him a chance. Modernize? Right. David thought modernization meant new office furniture and fancy coffee machines. He had no idea that the real value of a tech company lay in its intellectual property. Property I'd quietly secured while they underestimated me. Kate. Marcus interrupted my thoughts. Brooks is trying to access our patent files at the USPTO. Let him, I replied. He's about to get quite an education in IP law. I pulled up the kill switch interface, a beautiful piece of code that would require re-authentication of every license, every patent, every piece of proprietary technology. At 9 a.m. Monday, TechCorp would discover that their entire operation depended on technology owned by the sister they just fired. My secure phone buzzed again. A message from Jensen Technologies, one of our biggest competitors. Heard about the leadership change. Interested in discussing acquisition of Medici Solutions patents. I replied, not for sale. But ask me again Tuesday. Through the security feeds, I watched David in Dad's old office, probably practicing his CEO poses in the window reflection. He'd always been like this, convinced that leadership was about image rather than substance. Even as kids, he'd take credit for my science projects, confident that no one would believe his little sister could be the real brain. The intercom beeped. My private assistant, Mr. Anderson, David, is trying to reach you on all channels. Should I continue blocking? Yes, but log everything. We might need it later. I turned back to my laptop, reviewing the licensing terms one more time. The agreement was clear. All intellectual property rights remain with Medici Solutions. TechCorp's right to use the technology is contingent on maintaining active licenses. Licenses that expired. Monday at 9 a.m., I whispered, savoring the timeline. Another message from Lisa. Brooks just announced a complete system overhaul starting Monday. Says we don't need the old legacy code. I actually laughed out loud. Legacy code? They thought they could just replace 15 years of sophisticated engineering over a weekend? The arrogance was almost impressive. My phone lit up with a final message from David. Found your little patent files. Nice try. But company lawyers say everything you developed belongs to TechCorp. Stop playing games. I forwarded the message to Marcus, who replied immediately. He's looking at the internal documentation. Wait until he finds the actual USPTO registrations. Opening my safe, I pulled out the original patent paperwork. Every innovation, every major system component, all registered through Medici Solutions while David was busy playing corporate politics. The company lawyers would figure it out eventually, probably around 9:05 a.m. Monday when everything stopped working. Lisa? I messaged. How's the team doing? Scared. Brooks is making big promises. David's threatening to replace anyone who questions him. Tell them to look busy, act concerned, but don't fix anything. Monday morning, they'll understand. I poured another coffee and settled in for a long night of preparation. Through my monitors, I watched TechCorp's systems continue to run smoothly. For now, every line of code, every elegant solution, every critical function waiting for Monday's revelation. In his new CEO office, David was probably dreaming of stock options and board meetings. He had no idea that his first business crisis was already programmed and counting down. Sometimes the best revenge isn't immediate. Sometimes it's watching them celebrate their victory right before they discover it was actually their defeat. And David? He was about to learn a very expensive lesson about the difference between owning a company and controlling its technology. Monday couldn't come soon enough. Monday, 8:59 a.m. I sat in my home office, watching 6 different monitors tracking TechCorp's systems. The main screen showed a countdown. 0:00, 47 seconds, until every piece of proprietary technology required reauthorization. My secure phone buzzed. Lisa was already at the office. Brooks is giving a presentation about his modernization plan. David's here too. Full staff meeting in the main conference room. Perfect. To the security feeds, I watched their confidence. David at the head of the table, that familiar smirk on his face. Brooks standing by a PowerPoint titled TechCorp 2.0. The future starts now. 8:59, 45 a.m. Before we begin, Brooks was saying, I want to address the concerns about our core systems. Yes, we're replacing everything. Yes, it's ambitious. But with my experience at Microsoft. 8:59, 50 a.m. David checking his Rolex, probably thinking about his first CEO press release. 8:59, 55 a.m. The development team exchanging knowing looks. They'd seen my code. They knew what was coming. 9:00, 0 a.m. Everything stopped. Every screen in TechCorp went dark for exactly 3 seconds. When they came back online, a single message appeared. License expired. System XCS requires authorization from METAS West LUTIONS. Through the security feed, I watched chaos unfold. Brooks frantically typing commands that went nowhere. Developers pretending to look surprised. And David, his face transitioning from confusion to anger to the first hints of fear. My phone exploded. David, what did you do? Dad, Katie, the systems are down. Brooks, Ms. Anderson, we need to talk. TechCorp legal. Urgent matter requiring immediate attention. I ignored them all, watching the second phase activate. Every computer displayed the same message. ATTNTION. All TechCorp operational systems are licensed through Metasys Solutions. Current status. ACCS. Please contact licensing@metasys.com for immediate assistance. The conference room erupted. Brooks was shouting about backup systems, which were also licensed through Metasys. David was turning that particular shade of purple he reserved for when things didn't go his way. 9:05 a.m. Right on schedule, Marcus sent the official notification. Dear TechCorp leadership, this serves as formal notice that all technology licenses previously granted by Metasys Solutions have expired. Continued unauthorized use of our intellectual property will result in immediate legal action. For reference, Metasys Solutions owns patents and rights to TechCorp's core operating system, all proprietary algorithms, customer management platforms, data processing architecture, security protocols. List continues for 3 pages. Current market value of licensed technology, $420 million. Through the cameras, I watched David receive the email. Watched him finally understand what just code was worth. My secure phone buzzed again. Lisa. Brooks just tried to access the backup servers. Should I tell him those are licensed too? Let him figure it out, I replied. How's David? Currently yelling at legal about patent law. They're trying to explain what intellectual property rights means. 9:15 a.m. TechCorp's stock had already dropped 30% as news of the shutdown spread. 3 major clients called to cancel meetings. The board was demanding an emergency session. Dad called again. This time, I answered. It was never just code, was it? He said quietly. No, Dad, it wasn't. David, he's threatening lawsuits. Let him. Marcus has 15 years of documentation showing exactly who developed and owned every system. While David was playing CEO, I was building an empire he didn't even understand. Silence for a moment. Then, what do you want? Want? Dad, I own the technology that powers every aspect of TechCorp. Without my licenses, you don't have a company. The question isn't what I want. It's what you're willing to give up to keep operating. Another call beeped through. Jensen Technologies again, probably raising their offer after seeing TechCorp's stock plummet. 9:30 a.m. David finally cracked. His message was desperate. Name your price. Whatever you want. Just turn everything back on. I replied with a single document. Complete transfer of CEO position and controlling shares to me. Effective immediately. You can't be serious, he texted back. Every minute systems stay down costs roughly $50,000 in lost revenue. Take your time deciding. Through the cameras, I watched him read the message. Watched the realization hit that his victory lap had lasted exactly 1 business day. My phone buzzed again. The board requesting an emergency meeting. With me, not David. Funny how quickly priorities change when millions are evaporating. 10:00 a.m. TechCorp stock down 45%. 3 more major clients threatening to leave. David's precious golf buddy board members calling frantically. I opened my laptop and began typing. Dear TechCorp board. By now you understand the situation. Every piece of technology that makes this company valuable belongs to mesmerized Solutions. My terms are simple. Complete leadership change. David's immediate resignation. New board elections. Full control of operations. You have 1 hour to decide between saving the company or watching it become worthless without its core technology. Regards, Catherine Anderson, CEO, mesmerized Solutions. As I hit send, Lisa messaged one last time. David's packing up his office. Brooks just called Uber. When should I tell everyone we can turn systems back on? When the paperwork is signed, I replied. And Lisa? Make sure the cameras record everything. Sometimes you need to keep memories of perfect moments. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't just winning. It's making them realize that they never actually had control in the first place. And David? He was about to learn that in tech, the real power isn't in the corner office. It's in the code. By Tuesday morning, the business world was buzzing with headlines. TechCorp leadership shakeup. Catherine Anderson takes control. Tech Sisters revenge. How hidden patents changed a company overnight. mesmerized Solutions reveals true power behind TechCorp's success. I sat in what was now my office, not David's, not Dad's, but mine, watching the stock rebound after the morning announcement. TechCorp shares had jumped 60% since I'd reactivated the systems and revealed our new leadership structure. The developers had given me a standing ovation when I walked in. Brooks was long gone, his modernization plan nothing but recycled paper in the shredder. And David? He'd left his Rolex on the desk. Mom's retirement gift, now looking more like a symbol of premature celebration. My secure phone buzzed. A message from Lisa. Google's CEO wants a meeting. Says your patent portfolio is incredibly impressive. Of course it was. While David had been practicing power poses in mirror reflections, I'd been revolutionizing enterprise software architecture. The patents he dismissed as just code were worth more than TechCorp's entire market cap. Dad appeared in my doorway, looking smaller somehow. The board meeting is at 10, I finished. And yes, you should attend. After all, you're still a shareholder. Minority shareholder, but still. He stepped in, glancing at the changes I'd already made. Gone were the golf tournament trophies and Manager of the Year plaques. In their place, framed patents and system architecture diagrams, the real trophies of a tech company. Your brother has been offered a position at Jensen Technologies, I said, pulling up an email. They think his traditional business experience could be valuable. Of course, they don't know he can't tell a database from a spreadsheet. Katie, it's Catherine, I corrected, or Ms. Anderson, if we're being professional. My phone buzzed again. Microsoft wanting to discuss licensing agreements. Amazon inquiring about potential partnerships. Tesla's innovation team requesting a meeting. I never saw it, Dad said quietly. All those nights you worked late. The systems you built, I thought. You thought I was just the reliable daughter, the tech person, the support staff. I turned to face him fully. While David played golf with board members, I was building an empire right under your noses. Every system, every innovation, every piece of technology that made this company valuable, it was all me. Through the glass walls, I could see the development team working with renewed energy. They'd all received substantial raises this morning, along with equity in the newly structured company. The family dinner this Sunday, Dad ventured. Your mother's hoping. I have dinner with Google's executive team on Sunday, I replied, checking my calendar. And Monday, I'm meeting with venture capitalists about expanding Medici solutions. Turns out a lot of people are interested in technology that can shut down a $300 million company with one command. My executive assistant appeared at the door. Ms. Anderson? The tech journalists are here for your interview. And Jensen Technologies called again about licensing agreements. Dad took the hint and stood up. At the door, he paused. For what it's worth, I was wrong. We all were. I know, I said, turning back to my monitors. The market cap proves it. The rest of the day was a blur of meetings, interviews, and strategic decisions. Every hour, our stock price climbed as the market realized what David had missed. TechCorp's value wasn't in its corporate structure or traditional leadership. It was in the technology I'd built and protected. Around 6 p.m., as the office was quieting down, Lisa brought in one last update. David's things have been cleared out, she reported. But we found something interesting in his files. He'd been planning to sell off the tech division, called it support staff, overhead. I actually laughed. Sell the only part of the company worth anything? Classic David. Also, she continued, Brooks had started documenting our systems. Want to see his analysis? She handed me a folder. Inside, pages of confused notes tried to make sense of my architecture. It was like watching a kindergartner try to decode quantum physics. My phone buzzed one final time for the day. A message from Mom. David's devastated. Surely there's a compromise. I typed back, "There is. He can apply for an entry-level position. Learn the business from the ground up. After all, isn't that what you always told me? Start at the bottom, work your way up." Looking out over the city skyline from my office, my real office, I felt a satisfaction deeper than revenge. This wasn't just about proving them wrong. It was about showing them what just code could do. The next morning, TechCorp's new leadership team gathered for our first strategy meeting. Gone were the golf buddies and country club networks. In their place sat tech innovators, patent attorneys, and development leads. First order of business? I announced. Rebranding. TechCorp is now officially merged with Metasys Solutions. Welcome to the future of enterprise technology. As applause broke out, I caught my reflection in the window. No power poses needed. No borrowed authority. Just pure, technological dominance. David's last email sat unread in my inbox. "You've destroyed our family legacy." No, dear brother. I'd saved it, transformed it, turned a fading tech consultancy into a genuine innovation powerhouse. The family legacy wasn't in the name on the building or the corner office furniture. It was in the code. It always had been. And now, finally, everyone knew it. The best revenge isn't just winning. It's winning so completely that they have to admit they never understood the game in the first place. Welcome to my game. Welcome to my code. Welcome to my company.